What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks. And we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks. Cause True Talks, alright? Let's get straight right into it. So you already know. Bruh, my apologies for the last week, not dropping a video. Was under the weather. Still recovering, but now at least I could get through an audio an audio broadcast without coughing and anything like that OD. So you know what I mean? If I do, pardon me, you feel me? But you already know if you've been under a rock, you here for the True Talks, cause True Talks, all right? You already know. And basically, the news just came out that Doc Rivers got fired from being the 76ers head coach that he's been over the last, I think, 2 or 3 seasons, maybe 2 seasons. I think 3, but whatever. That doesn't matter. The point is he's been fired after, a meltdown from going up 3-2 against the Celtics. Celtics obviously within the last quarter of the game in the fourth went on a run. Last 5 minutes went on a 14-1 run basically when it mattered. And Tatum put the team on his back, put buckets in a platter, and basically forced the Game 7. And in Game 7, you already know, he dropped 51 for an epic an epic Game 7. Bruh, that Game 7 was nothing to play with. That Game 7, especially for Jason Tatum, was just letting mans know he's here, though. I'm here, though. 17 for 28, 6 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, 11 for 14 from the free throw line, 51 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 0 turnovers, and 2 steals. That's immaculate. That is an elite performance when it matters, and just blew them out the waters in the third quarter especially. And, bruh, it was beautiful to see. Just splashy, if you ask me. Banks, no Ashley. You feel me? So, bruh, I'm trying to show y'all something that this obviously was more so like Tatum. Whenever the job is to get done, if Tatum is struggling throughout the series or whatever the case is, when it's time, you've seen it multiple times versus Philly before. You've seen it versus even last year versus Milwaukee. You've seen it versus the Heat where him and Butler were going at it. You've seen it multiple times, which is why he's been to how many conference finals already in his young career before his real prime is even really here for real. And he's already been to how many conference finals and a finals? You know what I'm saying? So, when it's time, when all is failed and all is said and done, when it's time for real, majority of the times, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, he's going to turn up. And it's going to be a different level of turn up than what you're used to seeing. He's a superstar, not superstar in the making. He's been a superstar. So, he's of that ilk, comes from that Kobe school, from that Kobe tree. And just Kobe mentality, you could see it. Struggling. Doesn't matter if he's struggling. That's the hardest thing to do in basketball, to be struggling the whole game and then in a clutch, in the most pressure moment, in the most palm sweaty moment, while you're not even comfortable, while you're not hot, while you're cold. You're actually playing your worst to turn up and be hot. There's guys who are hot the whole game, and then in the fourth, when it's palm sweaty time, their palms get sweaty, and they, or if they're hot, that's the only time they're clutch. There's context. There's levels. When you could go from cold to hot, that's the utmost difficulty, utmost extreme, elite version, when it comes to clutch. Especially while down 2. That is the difficulty is at the highest. So you rate that clutch performance higher than other ones where a man's just hot already, even though he's still clutch. It's just levels. So when you look at it from Tatum to be cold and turn it into, fish grease and to turn hot was something special to watch, was something beautiful to see, obviously. And from that perspective, man, you just got to understand that this is what elite looks like when it comes to Tatum. Now, on the flip side, the Sixers. This doesn't just start just from a Game 7 blowout. This doesn't just start from a Game 6 meltdown. This starts all the way. In fact, this starts from Game 1 of the series. I'm going to give real context as quick as I could do it. I don't want to make this too long. When you look at it from this perspective, Game 1, without Embiid, Harden could be himself in terms of not overthink, in terms of not giving it to Embiid in the post and just watch him, and then I'm just spotted up and nothing's happening because when Embiid is going to work. It's from the block. Sometimes they do the 2-man game in the pick and roll, kind of a la Jamal Murray and Jokic, where they do, he hits him in the pocket, pass in the short roll, and then he does a midi. Same thing Jamal Murray be doing with Jokic. That 2-man game be fire, and it does work when it's working, and they do run it sometimes. But for the most part, a lot of Embiid's buckets is in isolation in the mid post, high post, low block. That's his area, and that's his, where he moves like a smooth operator, has great skill set, shimmies, post up, turn fades, hezzy pull-ups, jab step pull-ups, 1 dribble, 2 dribble, break his chest, rip through to the rim, like drop step, all the whole work is there, right? And that's how Embiid got his MVP, and that's how he's been killing the last couple of years, just operating at that spot, which is why they had to get rid of Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons kind of clashed with Embiid's post work, because Ben Simmons will be in the dunker spot. Clash of spacing. So now that they got rid of that and Embiid's been killing, you expect him in the clutch, you expect him in the playoffs to continue that killing. I always tell y'all, when someone's palm is sweaty, it's not like Tatum, keep shooting. We seen Zach LaVine in the plane, keep shooting, even when they missing. KD, keep shooting. The shots selection and the type of shots men shoot when they're bricking does not change. That's when you know the palms aren't sweaty, they're just off. Or something. They could, even if there's a little bit of nerves in there because of shots they normally make, you could, even if you want to attribute to that a little bit, we could rock with it, whatever. But you can't, there's only so far you could say that. It's not a whole choke job. It's not that he's a shell of himself. None of that. He's actually missing makeable shots that he always gets off. In terms of KD, in terms of Tatum, in terms of LaVine, the guys that I mentioned, even Butler, sometimes you see it. Like, they don't change their way they play. They're still aggressive. The takes are still the same. When your takes change, right? Embiid, we've seen this in Game 6. We've seen this in Game 4 when he's doing his takes is more grounded on his pull-ups. It's not just the knee. He's done this multiple times in the playoffs where Horford is guarding him, Marc Gasol is guarding him. Those two have been padding him for the most part. Even versus the Hawks in Game 7, in the first 3 quarters, killing. In fourth quarter, no takes like that. The takes change. A lot of dribbling more, a lot of holding the ball more, a lot of indecisiveness more, a lot of pass outs more. We've seen DeRozan operate like this. Those are the two that operate like that. Harden operated like this a lot of the times too, where the takes change. It's not the same takes. Or you take the same takes and the misses are just like left air ball, like it's not even close. It's one or the two. That's when you know a man is nervous. And you see that a lot from Embiid. You see that a lot from Harden. He did in this series. They only won these games because of Harden. So he did make up some of it. But again, the later it gets in the series, the real Harden shows. For the most part, Harden normally chokes all the time. But you've seen in Game 1 go to work. And he was clutch buckets too. Tip your hat off. That's where the story starts. No, Embiid got the dub. Then you seen in Game 4 when Joel Embiid's palms is sweaty. Because people are not even talking about Joel Embiid's defense in the drop that they attacked. Tatum started attacking. Because they weren't attacking it as often. But when they started attacking Embiid in the drop almost every play, he's giving up bare buckets. And on top of that, not scoring like an MVP should be. Palms sweaty. Getting blocked by Horford. Getting padded. Who was the one who turned up in the Game 4? It was Harden. The story continues there. Harden is the one who turned up. Harden is the one who came clutch. Harden was the one who just was putting in work. When you look at it. Got the game winner off Jaylen Brown helping in the corner. Embiid did create that with the pass, but again, like I said, pass outs. Like, if Jaylen Brown didn't help, do you really think Embiid would have got that bucket? I don't think so. Actually, I know so. For Horford to block you like 4 times in the clutch, that's wild. That is unacceptable. Y'all gonna talk about the knee. Y'all gonna talk about, it's always a knee issue. Always some type of injury that y'all gonna attribute to. No, it isn't. Because in that same, with his knee injury, I've seen him have moments where he's cooking and he's frying. I've seen him without the knee injury cooking and frying. And then when it comes down to the clutch, it's just a nerve thing. You could just, when you hoop, you know who is who. It's not a more so, it's not, a lot of the time, this is why I be telling mans, the game is 80% mental, 20% skill. Skill does matter. But if you don't have the mentality to apply your skill in the moment, you're going to look like an unskilled guy. Where there's guys like Lowry who are unskilled, and they just start displaying skill because the mentality is so high where they're like, I'm gonna get the bucket. Jimmy Butler too. Like all of these guys who go have out of body experiences where they dive into a skill bag you never knew they even had, that they're displaying for the first time in these clutch moments. Why? Because I'm gonna get it done. They have a no quit, I'm a dog, fight to the end mentality. Kobe mentality that a lot of people don't actually have, especially when it's pressure time. Lowry's gonna keep trying, keep going. He'll hit step backs, he'll hit random shots. You be like, what? Wow, Lowry, and then boom, bucket, like half spins, like you've seen him do it. Where with DeRozan, the main guy who has the skill, who has all the skill set in the world, is all of a sudden doing pump fake, force pickup, have to pass out. All those shimmies, all those the takes aren't there. He's now attacking, trying to draw foul because the palms is sweaty. The takes are lacking. The takes change. I've always said that to y'all. That's when you know a man is nervous. You can't win with this guy as the lead dog. Maybe his nerves go away when he's a secondary guy, or it's the same thing with Pascal as a secondary guy. It's the same thing. I say this all the time with certain guys. Same thing with Giannis. You could see who's nervous. One, some are nervous because they lack a bag. Some are nervous because they're just not that guy. You can't teach not to be nerves. You know, when it's a deer in headlights, you can't teach that. You can't practice. You can practice all the takes, all the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the game-winning clutch scenarios. You can practice that behind the scenes. But you can't emulate when the pressure is there and man's heart is beating and the crowd and the deer in headlights and the lights, the bright light. You can't emulate that ever. You can only practice. You can only get it when you get it. You can't practice that. And you're never going to know how someone's going to react till that time happens. They can practice all day, every day, know exactly what move they're going to do in every scenario. And yet in that moment, they're just a deer in headlights. They're just nervous. They just freeze. Some mans are like that. That's just a character makeup. Not everybody can have that dog in them that in the moment they react. It's just like, come on, fam. Not everybody's like that. So I just know when I see when you're not like that. And Embiid's not like that. Butler is like that. James Harden is not like that. But he's like that in game 1, in game 4. But when it's 6-7 and those late, deep, big momentum, like everything on the line games, those 2 games, when it gets there, he's not like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all those games, they're still pivotal in the series. They still mean a lot. They're still important, and they're still clutch moments. Harden can do those ones. But that's why he's not mentioned in those Kobe levels. That's why it's blasphemous when he say, oh, he's a better scorer than Kobe. Like, because there's levels. 6s and 7s and those elite tough games where it's like everyone knows the play. Like, it's really like pressure cooker. He's not. Harden won't come through, and he didn't. And I didn't expect that. But Harden's not the face of the team. So Harden, to me, he does get blamed, but he doesn't really get blamed. It's supposed to be Embiid's team. Embiid's the MVP. Embiid's supposed to be the guy. Embiid's been the common denominator in all these scenarios with that team. Game 6, the fact that you don't even get a shot, you don't even get one attempt with 3 minutes left in game 6. You don't even get one field goal attempt. And to me, that's why when people go, oh, he just didn't get the rock, I can understand that, especially as a big man. That's sometimes AD goes through that. But no, he did get the rock. AD be in an offense with Bron and them sometimes, and Bron be doing what he got to do in PNR, and sometimes they just go away from him. They want him to set the screen, and they just go away from him. That Philly offense is literally designed for Embiid. It's complete 2 different things. So Embiid not getting the rock, you literally have to like avoid getting the rock. Damn near. You could easily just go like this and call for it and they give it to you because they give it to you. Like it's your offense. Hence PJ Tucker yelling at you like, what are you doing, fat? Man up. Like, what is this? Getting patted by Horford like that? I don't care what injury, one leg. I don't care what it is. If you're of that, oh, come on now. We've seen it before. He's not of that ilk. And this is the common denominator, which is why in game 6, they didn't close. I like when Mans thought Sixers will win in game 6. I'm like, even though Celtics, it should have been done in 5. Game 4, they should have won. If thing never helps, they win by 1. I promise you, Embiid's not making that on Tatum. He's not making that. If Jaylen Brown never helps, they don't win that game. He helps, they lose. And that's the thing with the Celtics. It's hard to trust them because just like the Hawks series, when it should be done in 5, they're going to let it go 6. When the series should be done in 5, they're going to let it go 6. Then they lose in game 6. Then now they have to 4. There's going to, you know what I mean? It's 7 now. But when it's time to get the dub they're supposed to get and turn on and lock in, they get it done, which is why they be lackadaisical, because they know they could turn it on at any time, which is not a great attitude to have, but proof is in the pudding. But when it comes to the Sixers, bruh, when Embiid was there with Brett Brown and them, Ben Simmons and them, man said it was Brett Brown. They lost. Second round to Celtics, all of that. They were blaming Ben Simmons. We get it. They go get Jimmy Butler. Still, second round, game 7 to Raptors. And it only got to that point because of Jimmy. And J.J. Redick mainly. Embiid had one good game. He was getting patted by Gasol for the most part. He might have had 2 good games. I don't know. But he was getting patted by... When it mattered, he got patted all the time. Gasol and Horford has that man's number. Pay attention. Even Capella patted this man. And now the next year, you're the number 1 seed. Facing the Hawks, underdogs. You go up 3-2, same thing. And then you lose. Was Doc there? Yes, he was there that time. Are they going to blame Doc? Yeah, they're going to blame Doc. They still fired Brett Brown. They had Jimmy Butler. Game 7 didn't work. That's 2 different scenarios. One with Brett Brown as well, too, in the Game 7 as well, too. He's gone. Butler don't resign. They keep Tobias. Now you're still an elite team, regular season team always. Go to Game 7, you lose versus the Hawks again. Man's going to focus on the Ben Simmons play. They blame Ben Simmons. Okay. Now the next year, Ben Simmons isn't there. Same scenario, second round. I know someone was injured. They lost to somebody. Whatever. Who was it? The Heat? Almost lost. And then next year, they almost lose to I don't even know who they be losing to. They just be losing every second round. And then this year now, Game 7 again, second round. So you go through Brett Brown. You go through Jimmy Butler. You go through Ben Simmons. And now you're trying to blame Doc. You go through Doc. And you add James Harden. And y'all telling me that this is all those guys' fault, but the one common denominator in all different roster makeups is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid. This is the exact same scenario when it happened with DeRozan. When every time, upset. Different roster, different changes. Vasquez is there. You change this guy. You change this guy. All these changes in these auxiliary pieces. The common denominator was DeRozan and Lowry. And the common denominator was DeRozan underperforming to the point you're getting benched by Casey in fourth quarters, fam. In the playoffs as a superstar, as the main guy. It's the same. In both those guys, it's the same thing. You flip now Kawhi for DeRozan in 1 year and you get a ring. In every tough scenario that they would have lost, because DeRozan's out here saying I would have won, LeBron left. No. You went to a game. It took Kawhi to shoot 40 shots. You would have never taken 40 shots, DeRozan. You don't have that dog in you to keep going. Half the times in the fourth quarter, you're not even there. It's the role players, Van Vliet, and all these other mans chucking. You're not even getting shots off. You're doing pass outs. Every man didn't want the ball. Kawhi gave it to them. Didn't want it. They gave it back to him. They didn't want it. They didn't want it. To the point Lowry's waiting at half court. Kawhi has to come do a handoff and get it from him. He took 40 shots. When did you see Kawhi? Till this day, you haven't seen him take 40 shots. Till this day. Because why? Kawhi's about, I'm going to get it done. No matter what it takes. Oh, y'all don't want to take it? Shoot it now? Okay. We need rebounds? Okay. Kawhi don't ever shoot 40 shots. So what? That man plays within the flow, always. But he knows these man's palms are sweaty. All right, just give me the rock. I'll do it all. Just play defense. Play your role. DeRozan don't operate like that ever. Embiid don't operate like that ever. Where it's just give me the rock. You do the bare minimum. Just give me. Don't worry about offense. I'll do it. To the point where now I do it. And now when it's the clutch and I'm triple team, now Kobe hits Derek Fisher. Now Kobe hits Gasol. Because I've been cooking. I've been carrying. Because now you're uplifted. All you have to do is make one shot. That's how mans win. If I do it all when y'all palms are sweaty, Now your morale, all that nerves starts going away because you see I'm here, you see I'm here, you see I'm here. Now I need help, fam. Now you come through. Not the other way around. Your palms are sweaty. Your lead guy's palms are sweaty. He's doing absolutely nothing. He's nervous. On the surface, he was calm and ready. No, he doesn't even on the surface. I can see that his palms are sweaty. And now the role players got to do way more than they supposed to do. Got to shot create. They got to do everything. Tyrese Maxey got to chuck. PG Tucker got to shoot threes. Even Harden's passing out. Like, they got to do everything. Because y'all palms are sweaty. Embiid and DeRozan are like this. It's the exact same scenario. Until now with that roster, they switch it up and maybe Harden becomes the number one option. Or they get someone where they're the number one option. Like if they were to get a Dame, it's not going to be Embiid. It will be Dame. I'm not saying that they need to get it. Like they should be able to win with that roster. That is a good, great roster. They should be able to win them with that roster for sure. And on top of that, when you go up 3-2, like everybody did what they got to do. You're the main man in Game 6, so you got to close that out as the guy, or go out swinging, not to not take a shot. What are we talking about, yo? Especially when the offense is designed by you. You're not even the type of guy that plays within the flow. The offense is you. That is atrocious. I don't want to hear, oh, he didn't get the rock. I don't want to hear the knee. I don't want to hear none of that shit. No. Doc again gets scapegoated. Because they always do this with Doc. Yes, it's unfortunate he has all these. When you sum it up overall, he came back from the most 3-2 lead comebacks, the most 3-1 lead comeback or failures or whatever the stats mans want to throw up or whatever. When you watch the games, I've seen Kerr in this last Warriors series versus the Lakers make mistakes. Roster-wise, not reading certain reads and adjustments. I've seen him make mistakes. It doesn't get highlighted. I've seen Darvin Ham make mistakes, but it doesn't get highlighted because all of a sudden Lonnie Walker goes off. Was that because he put him in and they ran plays for him? No, don't do that. They ran a 1-2 play, but it wasn't like that. It was Braun. The play was for Braun. He was getting padded, and then he passed to Lonnie Walker late on the shot clock, and he had to shot create. That's what was happening. Let's keep it a buck. Darvin Ham, he's the lead coach for putting in Lonnie Walker. Come on, fam. Don't do that. Like, it's not like that. It's not like that. Y'all be overboosting things because now it worked or the player snapped. That's my point is sometimes the players just snap. Sometimes the players just play bad. And y'all want to credit the coaches as if he used IQ. Like, come on, don't do that. Then there's times where coaches make mistakes, but it doesn't get highlighted because they end up winning the game. Or the player was just so atrocious in that moment, the coach gets away with it when he should have ran the play for that guy, for Jaylen Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's moments, this happens. You could nitpick anything in losses and blame the coach. And no matter what coach wins or loses, anytime you can nitpick anything. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You could. With Doc, y'all seem to highlight every damn thing. And it's cap. Y'all doing too much. He's being scapegoated. Because of these reading stats, they 3-2, down 3, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Could the difference be that when he's playing with Celtics, this is a player, this is an ex-player, keep that in mind. This is why Kobe said he can't coach, because he don't have patience. Why do I have to do these little motivational speeches again and again and again to make you go to work? If you're that guy, I should be able to run a play for you and you go to work. Like Phil Jackson does. That's why Phil Jackson don't have to speak. You just sit there, arms folded. If y'all are those guys, I put y'all in positions. I gave you the blueprint. Y'all know the plays. Y'all know everything. Execute. Come through. I'll say my piece. I'll do whatever, but I don't need to coddle you every second. Man up. Guard. Defend. I'm not adjusting nothing. Lock your man up. What are you talking about? I'm not going to hide this defender. No, lock your man up. Sasa Vucic has to play defense. Every man got to lock up. And then at worst, you have a guy says, Kobe, I'm guarding the main guy. Forget all that shit. We good. Keep the defense the same. I'll guard Pierce. You know what I'm saying? Like, Doc comes from that. He played with guys like that, KGs, and he played with those guys, which is why when he had guys who are cut from the same cloth he's cut from mentally, He won a ring. Certain players, certain guys, they don't go. They think they come from the breed. I'm the coach and I manage, and I can make adjustments or whatever the case is, like here and there. But there's only so much I could do. Y'all, the players, like there has to be something in you, a motor in you, a dog like in you, that I'm expecting y'all to have that. So when I put y'all in positions, I'm expecting y'all to have that. Certain coaches who didn't play or who played and were role players, they look at it as, or some coaches that just were dogs too, even if they did play, they look at it as, okay, I got to do everything in my power. They don't look at it as the player is elite, he should be able to get a buck. They're going to do everything in their power to put the team in a position to win, in terms of they'll make even some decisions that most won't even make. We're not even going to go, you know what? His palms are sweating out right now. I can see he's nervous. I'm going to use IQ. I'm going to go to Jaylen Brown. I'm going to go to this role player because I'm going to go to Maxey. He's going to get the bucket. I trust him because his demeanor is good right now. Let's run a play for him. They're going to do unconventional things by reading the flow of the game, reading the demeanor of the game, and they're going to find a way to get it done. That's an elite coach, but Doc Rivers is a good coach. We can't just be highlighting anything now and saying that man's the problem or whatever. Like, come on, fam. So, obviously, I don't want to make this too long, but the fact that Doc Rivers got fired is, again, another scapegoat. It's another situation in Philly where this man, there's one guy who's been the same I can't even speak. There's one guy who's the only common denominator in all these roster makeups, coach changes, all of this stuff. It's been Embiid. And y'all need to point it out. This is the same guy who's not accountable after the press conference, after these games. Blame Ben Simmons, blame this guy. Now he's blaming Doc and saying the others and we. Never saying my fault, I'm MVP, I got to get better. He doesn't do that. It's the same thing when DeRozan going, if I had Braun on my team too, we would win. When are you going to man up and say I played bad? My fault. I should have been better. Like, what are we talking about? When you have that certain mentality, like, when you have a certain mentality like that, there's just, I already know how far you could go. You're not going to, especially when other teams, the deeper the rounds go, are just as elite as you, if not better, or have dogs as you, have a superstar who's equivalent to you. Like, you can't, frail mentality is never going to get it done. Never. Any sign of any frail mentality, any weak mentality at any aspect that can seep through is going to get exposed, and that's why you're not going to get over the hump. And that's just what it is. When you're facing a dog, you have to be extra dog to prevail. That guy's not going to sit down and just give you the, like, come on. If you're facing someone who's frail, then yeah, which is why LeBron was doing all these post fades and killing LeBronto, because he knows DeRozan's not built like that. It's easy work. I don't fear this team. If I was just coming to just, when LeBron's doing shimmies and doing all these elite bags, like there's no pressure. When LeBron dives into a bag, there's no pressure. When there's a bag, when there's pressure and all that type of stuff, LeBron's going to drive to the paint and be cautious and be very strategic in his takes. Come on now. Like, we should have known that about DeRozan from time. We should have known that about Embiid from time, but y'all do this shit. Y'all take regular season stuff and think that it's going to change, and this is the year it's going to change, and this is the year it's going to change, and this is the year. And y'all I told y'all I will never, as with that core and with Embiid there as the head, I'm never going to trust in Philly ever, because I know when it's time, he's going to shrink in some variety. It doesn't mean he's going to have 0 points or he's going to go 1 for 6. That's potential. That's a very likely that's going to happen, but he's not going to do Tatum and go 4 for 5 and snap in the clutch. He might do decent and maybe 2 for 5 or even his 3 for 6 in the whole fourth quarter might be spaced out in the top of the quarter. But when it really matters, he's not just going to get bucket. He's not going to get 3 straight buckets and put the foot on someone's neck. He's not just going to take over like that. Like, he's not doing that. DeRozan's not doing that. Embiid's not doing that. So that main guy that you have, that 33 point, all of this stuff, is not the same main guy in those moments, in incremental, crucial moments, momentum, pivotal, switch-in moments. He's not an MVP. He's not going to be that level of guy. He's going to be a role player like. And in any other situations, most guys that get the job done, they're superstars in those moments. If they're a superstar or paid like a superstar or seen as a superstar, those guys rise their level of play in those moments and become different. Embiid don't do that in those moments. He's a shell. Harden is a shell. In games 1, maybe 1 through 5, he might have moments. You saw game 1 and 4 where he's elite and superstar. But in game 6 and 7, he's going to be in a shell. He's going to be like, he's not doing that. But at least some games in the series, he might. Embiid, in any elite moment, he's not doing that. He only had that one game winner that he was even so surprised. You can tell by man's reaction when they're celebrating like this and so surprised. Look at Dame. Like, I'm him. I know that I do this. No celebration. Like, we do this. When you see the guys go, like, when you see that's already shows me you just threw that shit up and it happened to go in. You didn't know it was going in. You didn't shoot it like it was going in. You weren't, you know what I mean? Like, I hoop, so I know this. And I'm nice, so I know this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have confidence. I'm a dog too, so I know this. You can only understand these things if you of some form of himothy, some form of dog level of like, you know what I mean? I go get the ball when it's clutch time. Give me the rock, fam. There's a level of nerves, yeah. But you calm it down. You're like, give me the rock, yo. I'm about to wet this bitch. Like, all that slump, all that shit goes out the window if you're him in that moment. That you all of a sudden, like, I'm a shoot it, like, when I practice and I really want to get the buck and I'm hot and I'm confident and I'm knocking that down and it feels right. I know that feeling. I'm getting into that when it's time. And if I miss, it's gonna be a rattle. Like Ant when he shot it and he did a flick down like that instead of flicking up. So he did it too hard and it hit back rim versus the Nuggets. But the fact that he created and got a look off, you know that was on target. That's supposed to be money. He just slightly flicked too hard. Stuff like that. Same with Kobe when he got those air balls. It's on target. It's just air ball. Get stronger so the fatigue don't affect you. It's not the moment. It's not the mentality that is affecting these guys. You could tell. You could tell when someone's him. Anthony Edwards is him. I know that. Zach LaVine is him. I see these moments and I'm like, you a dog. And then I seen the reverse. When you're in a slump, you still shooting. You a dog. I already know what time it is. I already know what time it is. So Embiid, again, he's not cut from that cloth. He never was. Doc getting fired is just scapegoat shit. Any coach we've seen, I can name, even in this, like, again, the same thing, like them firing Monty Williams. I don't think they should have, but I can understand it. That's 2 back-to-back Game 7 blowouts, regardless of who's on the roster. No KD and with KD. That clearly means KD wasn't at fault. That means what adjustment did you, like, that's blowouts. It's not even like close game and someone could have sussed. That's blowouts. Twice. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand and see what it is. Anyways, it's True Talks. It's True Talks. Should like and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here and there's no drought here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. Let me know what y'all think. If that firing was worth it. If y'all think Embiid is him. Whatever y'all think. Let me know in the comment section. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You feel me? And I'm out, man.